Do you know what this means? How about this one? Well, if your answer is,
"They're the words of Gork and Mork,"
then you're 90% there. You see, I've spent the last 2 weeks learning the Ork language. Not only did I begin learning the words, but the glyphs too. All so that I could create awesome banners that made sense, just like the old days. Today, I'll show you how to make these banners and give you a little insight to the beginning of learning the intricacies of Orkish tongue. This is Cursed Crusader Arts. The Orks are typically regarded as dull and simple creatures, but it's hard to deny their intelligence and creativity when your head is caught between the blades of a power claw, or on the wrong end of a snaz gun. There's a few main reasons for this opinion though. The first is the ego of almost every faction in the galaxy, believing that they're superior in one manner or the other, except for the Tyranids. They're just hungry. But the Ork language is made of two distinct glyph groups. The first group are glyphs that represent letters, or more likely, sounds. These phonetic symbols are typically drawn using various triangular shapes, very similar to the real-life cuneiform writing system. The second part of the written Ork language is in the form of symbols which typically mean a specific word. However, sometimes a glyph might also mean multiple words, like the glyph bad. And I think that this might mean that the spoken Orkish language requires the use of different inflections and tones of voice, much like what we see and hear in the Japanese language. To make the banners, I cut out a length of muslin, the same material that I used to make the cloaks for my fallen Dark Angels. And then I used PVA glue to attach it to the mast that I'd made for the soon-to-be land ship, reinforcing the bonds with a little superglue on top. You should wait at least a few hours for it to fully dry, but you're better off waiting until the next day. But once my sail was dry, I gave the whole thing a base coat of Chaos Black primer, and then I got some paints together. Now, this is important. When you're painting a larger piece of fabric, there's a few tips for you. The first one is make everything bigger, otherwise you're going to find yourself spending a lot more money on the paints that you would use for your miniatures. Instead, grab yourself some cheap acrylic paints. I like to use Crawford and Black because it's cheap, reliable and easily accessible, being found in most arts and crafts stores. I mixed a dark grey and watered it down a little bit, painting it loosely over the flag, but while it's still damp, I take the same colour and wet brush it over the top until I'm happy with the result. Because just like our minis, the fabric has its own high and low points, as it's moulded to the mast it's attached to, and then folded due to the weight of gravity as the PVA glue dried. Once all of the black and grey paint is dry, I get some white paint and dab it onto the flag, making the rough shape of the freebooters icon. With the big sail completed, I found myself looking into Oldhammer. Back then, Orks wore great big banners on their back, packed with symbols to show who they were. Today, we're more likely to see what we recognise as a boss pole, which serves the same purpose. To make my version of the banners, I get a strip of muslin, which I then cut into irregular rectangular shapes, and seal them with PVA glue, just like the sail. Now if you've ever painted a wall, you know how difficult it is to paint consistently on a bare brick surface. The bricks are too absorbent, sucking up all the moisture before you can get an even spread, and then the texture itself just leaves pit holes everywhere, where the paint just doesn't get where it needs to be. And the same thing happens with the fabric sometimes. So in order to solve this, we need to prime the surface, just like we do with a wall. And what we're going to use as our primer is acrylic gesso. The gesso is very cheap and it dries quickly, creating a nice solid layer for us to paint over, whilst also leaving just enough texture from the muslin itself so that we can see and feel the weave of the threads. However, after I went through all the effort of transforming the muslin into a workable material for my paints, I realised that
I am an idiot!
Why? Well, what else is made of fabric, covered in gesso, and designed to be painted on? A canvas. Seriously, if you want to save time, money, and your sanity, go to the art store and buy yourself some stretched canvases which are already primed. They're really cheap in comparison to muslin, you don't have to spend the time preparing the material itself, and then you can cut it to whatever size that you want. From here on out, it's just like painting anything else. I go back to the citadel paints because these are small and the gesso stops the fabric from absorbing the liquid. I paint the whole thing with Abaddon black and dry brush it with Eshin grey. Then I push the highlights back with Nuln oil. The dirty fabric colour is made by using a layer of Corax white, making sure to leave a thick border around the edge that we can detail later. This is then followed by a layer of Wraithbone, which is then heavily washed with Agrax Earthshade and Seraphim Sepia. This becomes the baseline for our banners, and now we can add whatever details we want. The border I turn into black and white zigzags or checkers for that easy orky feel, and I use bright colours for the four corners on this one to hint at the older styles of painting. Take your time and go slowly. Patience is the key here, so don't rush. I then choose 3 glyphs to describe the model that I have. For this one, I use the Rock, Bonk and Gore symbols to show that this kill rig is for charging the enemy and making a bloody mess out of everything that gets in the way of our dearest sweet potato. The other banner uses Grunter, Baden and Ed Banger symbols, which represents the squig nature of the beast pulling the kill rig, the renegade nature of these orcs, and telling other orcs that there is a weird boy on board. The remaining banners have variants of other typical orc icons and glyphs for freebooters because everyone should know which orcs are the best. And how's that going to work if you've got no banners or you use the wrong glyphs? Not to mention that you have a nice convenient way of beginning how to paint freehand, just like when I made this custom Renegade Ogren. But whatever glyphs you use, make things, have fun, and I'll see you next time on Cursed Crusader Arts.